Hello, this is our new series all about West Bromwich Albion and West Bromwich Albion fans. We'd love to talk to you about memories of watching West Bromwich Albion over the years, have a look at some of your photographs and maybe have a rummage through your memorabilia. First off, here's Toby Wills, and he's talking about one of his boyhood heroes from the 60s. His name? Well, can you guess from these clues? He made over 350 league appearances for the Baggies. He starred in the film The Saturday Men. He played 23 times for England, and he went on to manage the Baggies. Yes, it's Don Howe.
Well, let me say at the start, Don Howe was the finest fullback I'd ever seen at the Hawthorns.
Now you've got this petition, haven't you? Says Don Howe must stay at the Hawthorns. What's all that about then?
Don Howe wanted an increase of £10 a week. £520 a year. And of course, I can't afford to pay that. So he said, I want a transfer. The club said no. Anyhow, like other players, other supporters, I was incensed. I thought, well, we've got to keep Don Howe, he's brilliant. So I drafted this petition together with another Albion friend of mine, Alan Brettle, who's no longer with us. And we went around the Hawthorns getting signatures. Went to Old Trafford on the train, everybody's queuing up to sign it. And funny enough, I got back from Old Trafford, I think it was, and I bought the Argus as it was then, hoping to read Don Howe's weekly column. The headline said, Albion fans forget petition. I was astonished. He said that he appreciated our concern, but he thought it was an internal matter and it would be sorted eventually, which it was, but eventually he did move on. And when he returned as a manager, he was deadly dull. He was one of the worst managers we've ever had. Absolutely awful, totally defensive. You think Tony Pulis was defensive, you would have seen Don Howe. Yeah. In fact, somebody approached me and says, can you get a petition up to say Don Howe must be transferred from the Hawthorns? I said, no, I couldn't do that because he was such a wonderful player that I couldn't say anything bad about him. I'm just sorry he went. And he was articulate, he presented the players' views perfectly, and you couldn't argue with his sentiments. But again, the supporters always tended to agree with the player. But when he went, I think it was for about £45,000. We were disappointed, but he went, and that was it. That was it.
Members of Don Howe there, and here is Don with my granddad. Now if you've got any similar photographs, please do get in touch with us. Now to the serious matter of World War I, and in this Remembrance Week we take an in-depth look at a former Baggies man, Harold Bache, who was killed near Ypres in 1916. I'm in the Worcestershire village of Churchill, where Bache was born in April 1889 and is remembered here on the War Memorial in the centre of the village. So Harold played 14 times for West Bromwich Albion, that's all. And he was also an amateur, wasn't he, Simon? So why did people think he was going to be such a success?
I think because he was an outstanding footballer. It's hard to make comparisons with modern day players, but if you like, perhaps Silva of Manchester City, small, very quick, very intelligent, very unselfish, if I can use that word. He was far happier setting up goals for other people rather than scoring them himself. And, you know, he was just a clever player who could spot a pass far better than anybody around him.
Bache is remembered at his former school, King Edward's in Edgbaston. Currently there is a fantastic World War I exhibition, and Bache takes pride of place.
Harold Bache was admitted to King Edward School in 1898 and left in 1908. So he was here for 10 years, which was quite a long time. And we have lots of records in our archive telling us the story of Harold Bache's school days. I think we all know that he was an excellent and very talented sportsman, and our records confirm that. We know that he played rugby to a very high standard. He was an athlete, an all-round athlete. He played fives and cricket. And of course, we know that he later went on to represent the county at cricket and played for West Bromwich Albion on the football field. But we also know that he was very well respected by his peers. He was, I think, what we would call an all-round good egg. He was a boy of great character, the school magazines tell us. So he was a real gentleman, is what the records lead us to believe.
And this is him pictured here, isn't it?
This is him, yes, this is him not at school. Sadly, we don't have any photographs of Bache as a schoolboy, which is really unfortunate. But we do have lots of records telling us a little about his character. And in fact, we even have a copy of a letter in the Old Edwardians Gazette, which is the old boys' magazine, from 1976, which tells us that he was really, really highly thought of at school. When Harold left school in 1908, he went up to Cambridge, where he was captain of the cricket and football teams, and of course a Cambridge Blue, so his sporting career continued long after his time at King Edward's School.
He made his debut in February 1914 at Villa Park in the FA Cup, the local press commenting that he brightened up the Albion attack considerably and he possessed the happy knack of getting the best out of his forward colleagues. The Sports Argus reports always made interesting reading. It was reported that the amateur was fast and tricky and occasioned much trouble to United by his speed and subtlety of movement. Later he scored against the Villa in a 3-2 win in the final of the Lord Mayor of Birmingham's Charity Cup. HG immediately caught the eye, the press commenting that a feature of the game was the brilliant play of Harold Bache and his control of the ball was wonderful. Later that month, the press reported that Harold had joined the forces. It was noted that supporters are patriotic and HG will have the best wishes of all Midland sportsmen. He trained with the Lincolnshire Regiment in Grimsby, but moved back home to help with recruitment in Staffordshire, prompting the press to note that his new position will enable him to maintain his connection with the Albion. This is the best bit of news heard in a day in Throssaldom. In January 1916, at Middlesbrough, he scored the only goal of the game in what was to be his last league appearance for the club. The Sports Argus said it was an awesome performance from Bache, Albion's military centre-forward. The Athletic News reported, whilst running at right angles to the posts, Bache suddenly checked the ball and shot with electrifying vigour into the net. It was one of the most brilliantly taken goals that this writer has ever seen, and the occupants of the stand sprang from their seats and gave the military footballer an ovation. And we'll have a little bit more about Harold Bache later in the programme, but now this. Now to our concluding feature about Harold Bache, the West Bromwich Albion man who was killed in 1916. Harold Bache became a grenade officer in charge of bomb throwers in the Lancashire Fusiliers, better known as the Suicide Squad. He was lucky to survive for as long as he did. His death was announced in February 1916. A finer sportsman, better soldier, and a nicer gentleman it would be impossible to find. The athletic world has lost a notable and conspicuous figure. All Midland sportsmen will regret to hear the sad news concerning a popular member of a family which had been associated with West Bromwich for a long period. He lived a glorious life. He died a glorious death. He died fighting for England. He died for the cause of justice and righteousness. This is the remarkable front line at the Bluff. In fact, no man's land is marked out behind us. The blue on the trees representing the English front line, and in the distance the red for the German front line, quite literally a stone's throw apart. So this is one of the reasons this line being so close together is chosen for this remarkable work of art. In the field, in no man's land, there are 600,000 small models representing soldiers with bowed heads bending down, each one a different name, representing the 600,000 soldiers from both sides that were killed in the Ypres area. Sadly, Harold Bache, who was known as possibly the Duncan Edwards of his day, died just across the ridge there. The whole of this area was extensively shelled, and there were numerous potholes and shell holes similar to this all around the ridge. The highest part of the ridge across here is called the Bluff, and this is where Harold Bache met his death. His commanding officer wrote a letter to his mother saying that he'd been shot by a sniper and that he had died very happily and instantaneously. But one of his pals, Lieutenant Barrett, wrote that his death was instantaneous, but he added to his parents that I won't worry you with the details of his last doings. In 1931, when West Bromwich Albion beat Birmingham City in the FA Cup final at Wembley, the players stopped off en route to Wembley at the Cenotaph in central London, and there they laid a wreath in memory not just of Bache, but of other sporting giants who didn't return from the Great War. Harold Bache's body was never found. He has no known grave, so his name is commemorated here in Ypres at the Menin Gate, where his name is one of 57,000 names of people who have no known grave. And every single day of the year, these people are commemorated with a service at 8 o'clock. Now, of the many photographs of recent years, one stands out for me. It was this one taken in the snow in Brescia in Italy during the Anglo-Italian Cup.
It was bizarre, to be honest. Yeah, we drove to Brescia in Italy, and the snow just kept coming down and coming down. In fact, we got snowbound on the way there. We got stuck in Munich overnight, and we didn't think we were going to make it, but we drove across the Alps next day through the snow. And the game should never have been played, to be honest. It was the ball was getting bigger and bigger every time it rolled along the floor. But we scored. Bob Taylor scored in the last minute to see us through, and the game ended with a snowball fight between the players and the Albion fans. And then, lo and behold, we're just about to set back across the Alps after the game, and my windscreen wiper blew off in a snow blizzard, the worst possible time it could ever happen. With probably 50 miles of snow-covered Alps to drive through. So yeah, the things we do, to follow the Albion.
You got on the pitch as well to take a memorable photo, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I had a photographer's licence at the time, so yeah, I went out on the pitch in the snow before the game, got the players together for a unique team group photograph, and I'm proud of that. It's featured in a few books and magazines over the years.
Great memories there from Dean, and if you've got memories similar to that, please do get in touch with us. Well, that's about it from this programme. Hope you'll join us again soon. Don't forget to contribute to the programme, and we'll have some of your memories in the next programme, and we'll also be talking to the man who inspired this headline. And don't forget, it's not only Zebedee who boings.